Fortunately, we've traveled a lot in the past and we've come up with some really good solutions to make it super easy. Like latches. You gotta love a little latch. There's a little latch over here that's just super easy. Click, and now I don't have to worry about that. Bookshelf over here could be a real nightmare if you forget to lock this baby down. We have 3 boards that we put up here, and then I put a bungee around it. No problem, stays put. So most of the packing actually comes to the kitchen. There are some things that we've made to stay put, like our plates and our bowls. These don't go anywhere. They've gone 55,000 miles around the country and haven't had a problem, so good there. But all this loose junk on the counters needs to get put away. That's where a crate comes in handy. So I will put these things carefully in here, and then we'll just stick it on the floor, sometimes with the pillow if I'm feeling doubtful, sometimes not, and then we just see if it slides around. Typically it stays put because it's pretty heavy, but besides that, and then latching a few things like the fridge, because we've had a gallon of milk come flying out of here before and it was really scary. Fortunately it didn't explode, so. But now we have a little latch that gets latched. This is our pantry. See a lot of breakable things. This is our closet door. Check out this sweet thing that Christian came up with. The door slides over both of those. Then I latch it and it's good. Never had an issue with this when I remember to latch. There's been 1 or 2 times where I've forgotten and it's gotten a little dicey, but let's not talk about that. All right. I have a pro tip. Koozies. They keep your beer cold, your hand warm, and your glasses from breaking or scratching. I put these in front of glassware when I pack, just for a little added cushion. And again, traveling across the United States, I haven't had a broken glass yet. One that I didn't drop anyway.
So we're getting ready to move the house, and there's always a couple of things that I make sure and do before we leave. One of them is give it a little checkup, and that means greasing the wheels. So that's what this is about. This is so I don't get absolutely filthy. It wasn't what you were thinking. So down here are the wheels. Grease gun. So this grease gun I'm going to use for the wheels right here. So let me show you. So this right here is a little cap that pops off. And you can get a thing called an auto feeder for this. We don't have one. So that pops off. And you can see in there, there's a little bit of grease and a little bit around the edges. So that means some has come out. So what I'm going to do is take this end of the grease gun, Zurich. I can't remember exactly the name of it. But it clicks into there. And I slowly push down on this piston and it pushes grease into the bearings that are inside the wheel. So it's not the tires, it's the wheel. So I don't do very much. And it's not very eventful. But just give it a couple little squirts of new grease. Put the cap back on. It looks, yeah, I mean, that looks good. There's not really much grease on the outside, so I think we've done good. Put that cap back on. And move on to the next one. So not too tough, but man, is this important, because if the wheel doesn't have grease, the bearings are going to touch metal, and it'll be metal on metal, and you'll have flames shooting out the side of this. So we know from experience. So, you know, it's always a good thing every, you know, couple thousand miles, or every, you know, 6 months. If your house has been sitting for a year, absolutely do this before you move it. connecting the tiny house to the U-Haul truck. There's a handful of things that you got to do just to make sure everything's okay. We actually did a couple of towing a tiny house videos that are on our YouTube channel that go into this like in detail, but having all of these things connected is a big deal. So having the chains hooked up in the right way so they don't drag. Most people twist them. This makes it so it doesn't drag on the ground while you're driving. This is a 7-pin connector. Goes in here, and what it ends up doing is connecting to a brake controller that you end up putting in the dashboard. So this is the most important. This is what makes your whole rig stop. Where's the breakaway? Where'd it go?
It's over here.
There's a breakaway cable. So this will actually turn on the brakes on the trailer if it pulls the pin out. And that's if, the only time that happens is if it breaks away from the truck. So that'll pull that pin out. Battery's good on that. Also, this keeps this lock. One will stop your trailer from being stolen, but it'll also make it so this doesn't open up, so the ball will stay on the truck. But also remember to bring this all the way up. The jack.
Swirl, 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 swirl.
The Reese hitch with the ball on it's in there. It's locked. Chains are in the D-rings. This is plugged in. I'll check the lights in a minute. This breakaway cable's set up, jack's up, locks in. It's ready to go. And now I'll get you to pull out the chocks on the wheels.
You got it. Not hit the tree branch with the house and we'll be in good shape. Looking good, looking really good. It's clearing this side. Just a little tiny brush, that's okay. Just dusting out the solar panels. Yeah, you're good.
Doesn't everybody bring their house to the house wash? Even though it's a tiny house, it's a big house for a car wash, so need a lot of quarters.
Why don't you put $5?
I'll put $5 in and see what happens.
Get it together, man.
Oh no! It started. It's got 5 minutes, 6 minutes, 7 minutes, 8 minutes, 9 minutes. I'm gonna get soaking wet. Gotta make sure to not get too close or I'm gonna pull, like, tear the wood up. It seems like it's doing alright. Let's hope $5 gets you.
So we're in transit to our new winter parking spot, but with the days being so short, it's really tricky to get much travel done during daylight, especially after we took so much time at the car wash.
So we heard of a free boondocking spot that was pretty close to our destination. When we went to check it out, there were quite a few other RVs there, so we figured this is a great place to spend the night. Since wherever we park is home, we still have our morning routines, and one of the things is Winnie's got to go for a walk.
Okay, so done with coffee. Time to move to a new home. So that will stay put while we travel. This normally stays put in our sink, but we decided to use this little water bag instead of fill up our water tank since we were just doing an overnighter on the road. After a short drive, we made it to our new backyard parking spot. We actually found the spot by posting a flyer on local Facebook community groups. Luckily, a really kind local family offered us this great spot for a very reasonable monthly rent. We can pretty much set up the tiny house in our sleep. We've done this like 1,000 times. First thing we do, and one of the most important, is level the house.
So living in an unleveled tiny house is an absolute nightmare. So making sure everything is perfectly level, front to back, left to right, is the absolute most important thing.
And after that, we go through our checklist.
And we set up the power, the water, and this time I'm gonna have to winterize the entire water system.
Then all we have to do is take a few minutes to set up the tiny house and crack open a cold beer.
And now the tiny house is ready for winter.
Hey guys, it's Alexis.
And Christian.
Thank you very much for watching our video.
Yes, and subscribing to our channel.
And don't forget to check out more tiny house stories.
And tours.
Oh, and don't forget to join us on Patreon.
And again, don't forget to subscribe.
See you next time.
Take it easy, guys.